As an aspiring teacher, I often think of my own teaching philosophy. I think about why I want to be a teacher, what I think I'm going to achieve as a teacher, and what kinds of methods am I going to implement in my classroom to achieve what I want to or what I need to. I guess I wanted to be a teacher to impact the lives of children and create a change and make sure that students feel valued in our society for whatever abilities they have. I hope to bring enthusiasm and passion into my classroom, adding innovative pedagogies and ensuring that the differences in my classroom are made to matter and are made to be valued. I want diversity to be celebrated, not just accepted. My aim as a teacher is that no matter what a child's gender, age, cultural background, physical appearance, religion, family, socioeconomic status, ability, or sexuality, all students should feel welcome, safe, and natural in my classroom. The Teaching Code of Ethics Queensland shows we should demonstrate dignity by valuing diversity and treating students equitably. I hope to do this in my own classroom. I don't want students to feel like I'm spotlighting them or seeing them in a tokenistic way. I don't want my students to feel that they are held back by certain stereotypes and social norms of their diversity, or they have to fit a certain mold just because of who they are. I want them to know that norms are not normal. I have a responsibility to allow students to become aware of mythical norms and stereotypes and to encourage them to challenge them in society. I will strive and understand the differences between just including students and actively valuing their participation in my classroom. I want my students to feel respected when they come into my classroom. The Alice Springs Declaration states that we as teachers should strive to promote excellence and equity in education. So I also need to remember that this diversity may come at a cost to some of my students. I need to be attentive to the impact their diversity may have on them. Will they have the same resources and support at home as some of my other students? What can I do to lessen this impact and create an equitable classroom environment? I know it is my responsibility to ensure that I'm aware of my own values and beliefs and why I have those, so that I don't unconsciously project and undermine my students and colleagues with different ones to my own, and instead control how I communicate them. I know that my students will bring their own values and beliefs, and I need to be aware that these are learnt from family, peers, religion, and the media, just as mine are learnt from the same agents of socialization. I need to be conscious that their experience at school is another agent of socialization which will shape and impact their lives that they will take along with them. I know I may need to unlearn and relearn different things to be able to better myself as a person and as a teacher. I want to make sure that I'm mindful of who I will value and devalue in my classroom, who is celebrated, demonized, who is seen, and who is forgotten. I need to make sure that every student will be portrayed positively, that all students can see themselves as a hero, a friend, a leader, and not just a villain or the victim. I draw on two philosophers as inspiration for the kind of education I want to bring into my classroom: John Dewey and Sir Ken Robinson. John Dewey was a believer in learning by doing. He believed that just as students had to or could learn from us, they also had things that they could teach us, and we could also learn from them. He believed in teaching to the students' interests rather than just a standardized set of learning outcomes. He wanted us to place the student at the center of education instead of curriculum. I hope to be able to give and take in the relationship that I have with my students and colleagues when it comes to learning. I want to be able to relate the things that we learn in the classroom to their real life circumstance. I don't want my students to simply be receiving knowledge, but I want them to be actively participating in gaining that knowledge for themselves. Sir Ken Robinson believed that schools were killing a child's creativity. Upon reading more into his book, Creative Schools, I learned he believed in a more holistic approach that nurtures the diverse talents of all our children. He thinks that we should make education more personalized, compassionate, and community-orientated. I want to make my classroom more individualized and create a good balance and bring in a creative approach. I know that all students are different, and so having standardized testing and learning will inevitably inhibit their natural talent. I will ensure in my classroom to develop and value students' attributes and talents so that academics isn't the only thing that is celebrated. By following Sir Ken Robinson's approach to education, I will create a transformative classroom. I will critique the way things are, have vision of how they should be, and have a theory for change. My teaching philosophy is to allow students to fully embrace who they are as individuals and welcome their diversity into the classroom and eventually into society. It is us as teachers that create the biggest impact on their character, and it is up to us to ensure they leave our classroom feeling that their differences are admired and treasured.